Peace and love, family. Welcome to another powerful discussion with your sister, Dr. Maat. Before I bring on tonight's guest, I have a few announcements to make, family. Make sure that, in the words of the young people, that you pull up in Baltimore this Friday on June the 14th. Our beloved brother Nuri Muhammad, will be in Baltimore, family. And you've seen him everywhere. He always comes to Baltimore. Shout out to the Nation of Islam. He's always here in Baltimore, but he's been everywhere. And as I told him backstage, I said, brother, you blowing up. You're everywhere on the net. You're on the Breakfast Club. Then I see you on, I don't know if it was the Art of Dialogue or Vlad. It was one of them. And then I saw him again he's on Nick Cannon, and you turn around and he's on 19 Keys. And so he is everywhere. And salute to this brother, this warrior for our people. So family, be in the building, not only tonight to hear him speak, right, on this podcast, but be in the building on Friday, June the 14th, as he discusses how to love a Black woman and how to love a Black man. And as a lot of my predecessors and I've been saying, Black love is revolutionary, in this culture, right? Just loving Black people is a revolutionary act. And so, family, make sure that you're in the building, okay? So it says right here, date was it February, Friday, July the 14th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The location, all right, is 31. I got to get glasses, y'all. 3121 Walbrook Avenue, family. And so what I'm going to do right now, okay, is drop the link in the chat. Okay, drop the link in the chat. Hold on. It's telling me, Jabari, I had to push your go live button on my end. So I don't know what that was about. But anyway, I'm going to drop the link, guys, in the chat right now. Make sure that you get your tickets, okay? And get them now. You don't want to pay extra at the door, right? So make sure that you get your tickets. So hold on. Let me drop this in the chat. Because I see the Maadian family is in the building. Here's the link to get your ticket. Get your ticket now, family. Get your ticket now, okay? And if you know, like I know, the Nation shows up deep. So a lot of these tickets are probably already gone. So you want to make sure that you get your tickets. Also, family, make sure that you enroll your child in the UACI Summer STEM Camp. Family, this is the first of its kind. It's an African-centered STEM camp for our young people. And I'm pleased to announce that this will be our third iteration of the camp. And we were blessed by the CAP Center at Morgan State University with a $25,000 sponsorship. And so this camp will be free. I repeat, this camp will be free. It's going to start on July the 8th. It's going to end on July the 19th. And it will be running from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is 100% virtual. We're going to ensure that every child has a Google Chromebook and a STEM kit. Your child will be online with us from 9 to 1, and you'll be online with qualified instructors, right? Qualified instructors. And what will your child be learning? Your child will be learning about Black achievements in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then they'll spend 2 hours with my team and I learning about artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, as well as cybersecurity concepts. All right. This camp is free. Bob Amin told me today that we only have 14 slots. We're taking 30 students. And I have some people in California. Doc, is virtual. Can you add more students? Nah. Quality over quantity. Okay. So we have 30 slots. Once those slots are gone, that is it, family. And again, this camp is 100% free. For the first 2 years, we had to charge a tuition for $400 per student, but now it's completely free. All right, so I'm going to drop a link to the chat, family. All right, so make sure you get your child enrolled, okay, in the UACI Summer STEM Camp. Also, family, make sure that you enroll your son in the ASAFO training camp. This camp focuses on manhood development and African-American boys between the ages of 12 and 14. This is a collaborative effort between myself and PLM, right? Baba Imhotep Fadiyu of PLM. So family, make sure that you get your son enrolled in this. We're taking 20 boys. And again, this camp is also free. And I believe that half of these slots are already gone. Okay. So even if you're not in Baltimore, man, come to Baltimore and kick it with our team, okay? And let your son have an experience to experience this, right? Look at what our boys get, man. They focus on, look at this. Core areas of focus: character development, critical thinking, physical fitness, and self defense. And then we honor them on the last day. And parents say they love this camp. All right. And last but not least, I do want to plug the Agoji training camp for girls. This is going to be the first iteration of the camp. Okay. The website, we plan on launching the website probably this Friday, family. And all you got to do is go to agojicamp.com, okay, to enroll your daughter in a training camp that focuses on womanhood development in young girls between the ages of 12 and 14. Okay. So make sure that you take advantage of these programs while we have them, family. All right. Also, family, get your Meltrek. Get your Meltrek films. Okay. Meltrek is a series that teaches Black history from a Black perspective. Okay. So get these books, get these films. Right now they're banning, books that teach our history. They're banning curriculum focused on Black history. And so, white folks going to do what they do. And so we have to do what we have to do, and that is educate our children. So make sure that you come to meltrek365.com, okay, and get your children the tools, the books, the films that will teach them Black history from a Black perspective. And so I'm going to drop this link in the chat. And those are all of my announcements, family. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our guests. Notice I said guests with a S, our guests. All right, brother Nuri Muhammad, and my beloved brother, my comrade in the struggle, brother Jabari Nator. Here we go, family.
Let's combat and fight back with Meltrex. The war of the minds, they want control of the masses. And Common Core, they dumb us down in the classes. Without knowledge, we can't gain access. Build with the elders, take notes and write classes. We keep whining on the block, how it's gonna stop? Let's start supporting our own, make their supply drop. We buy stocks, then we buy blocks. Cause we know the truth and we tuned in to Dr. Maya.
A BB Fahodie, a BB Toomey, a BB Wan. Peace to all of my thinkers, truth seekers, and truth speakers. Welcome to another Truth to Power Talk with your sister, Dr. Maat. Thank you for joining another powerful discussion. And tonight I have with me two powerful guests, but they are no strangers. They aren't strangers to the community. Brother Nuri Muhammad, Brother Jabari Nator. How are you warriors doing this evening?
Peace to the family. Spirit is strong, definitely strong.
So happy and honored, Dr. Maat and my brother Jabari, to share space and time with you all this evening, and looking forward to a great build session tonight.
Ashe. Family, take a moment to thumb up this video. Thumb it up. You know the way the YouTube algorithm works. The more people engage the video, the more it circulates on social media. And also, family, share this video. Sharing is caring. We want to each one teach one. And a way to do that in 2024 and in 21st century is by just sharing the video on your social media platform. So if you're on Facebook, post a link. If you're on Facebook, post the link. I'm sorry. If you're on Twitter, formerly, well, it's not Twitter anymore, it's X. So if you're on X, post the link. If you're on IG, post the link, all right? Or Snapchat or TikTok. It's so many, Brother Nuri Muhammad. So many social media platforms. But let's get the word out that we are live and we're going to have a powerful build tonight. Last but not least, family, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channels. Brother Jabari is also streaming on his YouTube channel as well. Make sure that you hit on over there. Brother Jabari, what is the name of your YouTube channel over there?
Reality Speaks Media.
Reality Speaks Media. So family, make sure that you head on over to Reality Speaks Media, subscribe to his YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that whenever he goes live, you are notified, right? Brother Nuri Muhammad, you can follow him on all social media, family. So make sure that you follow us on social media, subscribe. Also, family, if you're watching on Brother Jabari's channel, make sure you hit on over to my channel, Dr. Oya Edwa Maat. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so that whenever I go live, you are notified. And family, when I go live, it's for something. I just don't go live every day. I go live maybe once or twice a week. So you don't have to worry about getting a whole bunch of notification bells from me. So anyway, tonight's topic, brother Nuri Muhammad, is Black love possible? Is it possible? So you're coming to Baltimore this Friday. You're going to be here and you're going to talk about how to love how to love a Black man and how to love a Black woman. I want to begin by asking you, is that even possible in this context that we are sitting in? You know, this system that's constantly weaponizing one against the other. Is it even possible for Black love to exist in this context?
Wow. When I first heard that question earlier today, it made me sad that we have to even answer such.
Right.
But when Brother Jabari said it, I said, "Oh man, it's a shame we have to ask such a question."
Yeah, no,
But
real.
suffice it to say that a question like that can be asked in the present, because the way we live in the present is such the extreme opposite of what Black love looks like. We live in a culture and a climate of self-hatred. So it looks like, based upon the time period of this dominant theme of us hating ourselves, it looks like it's an impossibility. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as you know, Dr. Maat and Brother Jabbar, he made this bold revolutionary statement. He said, out of all of our studies, history is best qualified to reward the researcher. He said, if you know what was, then you know what is. And if you know what is, you're prepared for what is to come in the future. For history provides man with the springboard of human action. Well, historically speaking, and we don't have to go all the way back trillions of years ago or millions of years ago. Just look in 1798 when Napoleon was hired by the European forces to destroy all of the images of Black positivity. He went into the mystery schools. He went into the temples and destroyed all of the images of the inventors and the scholars and the prophets that look like us. And after he blew up the nose off the Sphinx, he went into the pyramid behind the Sphinx called Giza. And this great wonder, last living wonder of the world, was built by us. Black people built that, 451 feet tall, 451 feet deep into the earth, covering 13 and a half acres, made of 1 million stones that are 3.5 tons a piece of gold, marble, and granite. And every stone is stacked mathematically precise, north to south, east to west, up in the air, down into the earth, not deviating 1 square inch. And we did it without John Deere, Caterpillar, a crane, or a bulldozer. We did it with the power of the mind. And when he went inside this great pyramid Giza, Napoleon, after finishing the job of destroying all the images of Black messengers, Black prophets, Black apostles, the Black Jesus, the Black inventors, he noticed that every time he seen the image of the gods on the walls in Giza, right next to the gods was always his queen. So every time he looked and seen Osah, Aset was right there with him.
That's right.
When he looked and seen Osiris, Isis was right there. When he looked and seen Alafun, Ilida was always right there. So now when you go into Giza, everywhere you see Alafun or Osiris or my other brother, you'll see that somebody's been scraping the image next to them. Why? Because our ancestors were trying to send down the line of time the message to us. The true power base of Black people is the Black family. And so they destroyed that image. And because of their destruction of that image, and then, of course, when we were first so-called emancipated in 1865, they agreed when they were discussing whether they were going to allow Black people to get higher education when Howard University was coming into existence. They said, yeah, we'll let Negroes go to college, but they can't come to our schools. And whatever schools they have, there's 3 things that they cannot teach. And that's the science of warfare, the science of finance, or the science of mating. So the reason Black love looks impossible is because there's always been an attack on Black love. And there's always been a crime of denial to keep us from learning it. So we have to relearn it. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us this in our close. He said, knowledge of self produces love for self. And love for self makes you do for yourself. So when you know yourself, you love yourself. And when you love yourself, you do for yourself. And since the base word of brother is other, your brother is your other self. When you know you, love you, and are doing right by you, your other you is going to get treated the same way. So that's the math. That's the starting point. We have to get back into that ancient engraving that was over top of the mystery schools. Know thyself. Know thyself. And if we started there, once we learn how great we are and the proud, the powerful, the pious and productive people we used to be before we were kidnapped and Caucasianized by this enemy, then we'll start loving ourselves again. And it'll be easy for us to get along with each other, male to female, female to male, parent to child, child to parent, brother and sister in the streets to brother and sister in the streets.
Ashe. Can you just elaborate or like expound on when you said the attacks on Black love? Can you just walk us through some of these attacks, some of the strategies that they have used, that the powers that be have used to separate the Black man from the Black woman, and vice versa, and to destroy Black families? What are some of those attacks? What are some of those strategies that you have observed or have knowledge of?
Well, look at the timeline. When we first came in contact with Caucasian people, this was in the early 1530s. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that John Hawkins and his team stayed among us for nearly 30 years, gaining our trust. And they then told us about these maps they had on ships that we can go to a country and get more gold than what we were earning in our own country. We got on the ships. And when you look at the slave ships, here's the first attack on the Black family. The average ceiling on the slave ship was only 8 inches tall. So we were stacked shoulder to shoulder, foot to head, with only an 8-inch ceiling above us. But what they did when they put us on the ship is they separated all the wives from the husbands and all the children from the mothers and the fathers. So now we are in a position where we are on a 3-month journey, 9,000 miles coming from Africa to America. And we are listening to our babies cry, but we can't nurse the babies. We don't get fed food. All we get to eat is whatever comes through the cracks as slop and water that comes through the cracks of the floors, which is mixed with urine and feces, etc. So look at the attack on the Black family. Here I am for 3 months on a 9,000-mile journey, not able to be the basic nurturer of my child as a mother or the basic protector of my queen. Then we get to slavery, and they had a hard time breaking the first slaves. And we used to say it like this: we were too Black and too strong. So the first batch of slaves, they knew they couldn't break them, so they start killing the adults and saving the young. So now young children are being made slaves, but they don't have access to books and they don't have access to mothers, fathers, or their elders. So what they learn is whatever the slave master teaches them. That's an attack on the family. Then after they grow old, become adults, there were 3 things made illegal on the plantation. One was to pray, the other was to read, and the other thing was for Black people to marry one another. This is why even now, you can go to the most sophisticated wedding among Black people, they might spend $100,000. Ice sculptures and coming in on horses, getting dropped off by baby planes, all kind of stuff. And they'll still at the end jump the broom. This came from slavery. See, it was illegal for us to marry, but it was not illegal for us to sweep master's porch. That's an attack on the black family. Then, when we were breeded, they took a fertile black woman from one plantation and brought her into a horse stable or to a pig stable or where goats were, threw her in there, found a stud from another plantation, put them in there, made them mate with each other. Then he went back to his plantation, never allowed to be the father. So no love was allowed to be fostered. No parenting. This is all an attack on black love. Then you multiply that by coming up. Now we're out of this initial stage of slavery. But in 1712, go check out the Willie Lynch letter. Willie Lynch says in 1712, as he was hired to be a consultant to the slave masters of the West, he said, "Gentlemen, I sit at the bank of the James River, named after our glorious and illustrious King James, whose version of the Bible we cherish. I have in my bag a foolproof plan for the control of your slaves. It's worked for me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work for you. All I've done is outlined a number of differences among the slaves, made them bigger than what they were. And look, at the top of the list was I put the male against the female and the female against the male. I put the female in a state where she's dependent on me, slave master talking, but not allowed to depend on her natural man, which is her man.
Partner. Yeah, her partner.
And it puts her, his words, Willie Lynch says, it will put the black woman into a permanent, frozen psychological state where she will be loyal to us and not to her own. So this is some of the backdrop that produced the plantation psychosis we're suffering from. This is some of the backdrop that has us in PTSD, post-traumatic slave disorder. This is some of the background that has us still operating in present time under the Willie Lynch curse. So that was the fundamental attack. So this little gender war that you see going on, it wasn't started by some brother on YouTube versus four churches. This was started by the slave traders, the slave makers, and reinforced by the slave masters. And they've kept that system in motion to keep us in a frozen psychological state where we won't love each other and build. Because they knew then and still know now that just as Osiris needed Isis, Alafun needed Ilida, and Osar needed Aset, we need a good, loving relationship with our woman if we're going to build a nation of our own.
No, Ashe, and thank you for that response, Brother Nuri. I was thinking as you were talking, when you said, because you started at the slave ships, and you were like, yeah, and I was like, he's right, that is an attack on the black family. And then I was thinking, even before that, marching in those kafu lines, right, to the dungeons, and then being housed in those dungeons where the men were separated from the women, you know, and actually had an opportunity to go over to Ghana, give thanks. I went over twice and to explore those dungeons, to learn about them. And I walked through them. I went to Elmina, I went to Cape Coast. And so when you see male dungeon, female dungeon, you see the condemnation cell, where they put the rebellious captives there. And so I was thinking as you were talking, I said, daggone, I'm thinking about the kafu lines in the dungeons, all of these things, going to Asamanso, where our ancestors took their last bath and were auctioned off. All of those things can be viewed as an attack on the black family. All of those things. So thank you for that.
And that's why what you're saying, Dr. Maat, it brings me something that I wanted to expose to the viewers. It's so important that we get a careful review of slavery, because there's a saying in medicine that accurate diagnosis is half the cure. See, you can't go to get diagnosed with any condition without the doctor and the nurse wanting to know your medical history. They want to know what runs in your family.
Right.
They want to know when was the first time that you began to experience these things. How were you eating? How were you thinking? What happened in your life? We've got to have the proper diagnosis of our condition. And the minister said it like this. He said 90% of our problems in the present day are rooted in plantation life. There's a book out called Slavery and Psychic Trauma, written by Sultan and Naima Latif, and they do an assessment interviewing people all over the country, and they're looking at the diet, the dress, the language, the culture, and they're trying to see how much of what we do in present time is rooted in our original God-centered African culture, and how much of what we do in decision making in the present time is rooted in plantation life.
Brother Nuri, what's the name of this? I'm getting it right now.
It's called Slavery and Slavery Psychic Trauma. But this study found that only 7% of our decisions we make in the present are rooted in our God-centered African culture, and 6% and 94% of the decisions we make in the present are rooted in plantation life.
Ooh.
So if, the minister says it like this: whoever gives you the diameter of your thinking prescribes the circumference of your activity. So we are operating the way we are. We're acting the way we are because of the way we think. And our diet is plantation plate. Our relationships rooted in plantation. So we have to take a deep dive and look at what happened to us. And that's why, Dr. Maat, I was over here, I was behind stage. You couldn't see me, but I was clapping and celebrating when I seen all those youth programs that you all had, teaching character building and knowledge of self and STEM, and starting the STEM study, not just looking at molecules and math equations and technology, but looking at the black people that invented all of that.
Come on, Brother Nuri Muhammad.
Because at the end of the day, if you notice, number one, when they teach us our history, first of all, they gave us the shortest month of the year, February. Here we are, the people with the longest history on the planet, but when it's time to celebrate, we get the shortest month of the year. I never heard of Irish History Month or German History Month or Jewish History Month. They celebrate theirs, like McDonald's says, 365. Then, if you notice that during Black History Month, it's always from slavery to the present day.
Yes.
From the cotton field to the current, and from the plantation to the present. They never go back to what we used to be before we were kidnapped, robbed of our name, culture, religion, moreways, folkways, norms, God, westernized and Caucasianized by the enemy. So now, because we only go from slavery to today, plantation to the present, cotton field to the current, we start looking at what we were in and think we've really arrived somewhere. So we start singing songs, started from the bottom, now we here. But the real truth, we started from the top.
Come on, you better say it.
Now we way down here, and we got a lot of work to do to catch up with what was, and then get to where we're supposed to be. So absolutely. So our viewers, you've got to give your children homework assignments. And I'm not talking about regurgitating what they get from the public school system, the killing field, but giving them assignments that teach them about people that look like them, that accomplished great feats in the past.
That's right.
And what you'll find is that whenever a Black child learns about people that look like them, that accomplished great feats in the past, it activates their spiritual peripheral vision. And even without saying it out loud, they begin to think that if they can do that, then I can do that, and then some now.
That's right.
So we have to make sure that we take the education of our children personal, and don't allow these, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called them, killing fields, to be the source of the education of our babies. Do you know that as great as Morgan State is, when someone graduates from Morgan State and they come back and tell everybody where they graduated from, they call it their alma mater?
Yes.
That's German for other mother. So if a school is supposed to be the other mother, who's supposed to be the primary educator of the child? The first mother. So we got to take up the banner of making sure that our children are programmed with knowledge of self. And we have to do all that we can to undo and erase the self-destructive and self-defeating commands that are installed in Black children's psyche when they go to these schools and learn all these lies about white greatness and nothing about their own Black self.
And thank you for that, brother Nuri Muhammad. I have, and brother Jabari, you ask a question anytime. I don't want to dominate the interview. If you got some questions you want to throw out, but you know how I am. I'll be like, let me ask you a question.
No,
so,
let me
brother
just,
Jabari, is this something you wanted to?
Let me just say this real quick. I mean, just real quick to go back a little bit, just to say again how proud I am of you, Dr. Maat, for the work that you're doing in the community. We appreciate what you're doing in the community. And brother Nuri, we've been trying to get you to Baltimore forever, bro. I've been doing lectures. We've been doing lectures here in Baltimore, Tubman City for 29 years this year. Yep, be 29 years, and we've had everybody. And I've watched you, for years. And I said, I got to get that brother here, man. That brother is sharp. So finally we making it happen. And I just want to say to the family, y'all hear us talking, you hear brother Nuri talking, Dr. Maat, man, since COVID, y'all got to the point where y'all don't really want to come out to events no more like that. You want to be in the house on the internet, so come out and shake the brother's hand, come out and see, and touch a book, there's healing when the people come together, there's a certain healing that's happening there when you can see people and touch people and those different things. So the brother is going to be live here in Baltimore, here in Tubman City. He's going to be live. So you want to come out. Now, for those who just can't make it to Baltimore, Tubman City, you ain't in the DMV or whatever and can't drive up, we do have live stream available. So in the link, we do have a live stream link available so that you'd be able to join us, only if you just can't. But if you can make it up, come on up and be with us, fam, because, man, I'm telling you, after COVID, people like, like, nah, I'm cool. I just chill. I chill at home, and they don't want to come out no more. But brother Noy, just if I can ask you this question real quick. A lot of people say, I want to hear, black male, female relationships and all, but that's a Muslim though. That brother's a Muslim. I ain't trying to hear no black male, female relationships from a Muslim. Can you please explain the universal message of love in our community that you're going to be touching on in general?
Well, the beauty of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is that he has programmed us and trained us to have a cosmopolitan approach when it comes to faith and struggle, which means that when you come to a set like this one, you're going to hear the Holy Quran, you're going to hear what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, but you're also going to hear some of those axioms and laws and rules that we used to govern ourselves by whenever we were in the motherland, multiplied by some Bible verses mixed with some life experience and amplified with some common sense. So just come out and see for yourself, but don't become spiritually immature where you sitting somewhere looking at what some label is. You didn't ask what faith that professor had when you went to that school. You don't ask what does the person believe in whenever we sign up for a course to get certified in something. So that's just the thing we do that's rooted really in our own self-hatred and our spiritual immaturity. But you should come out. It's how to love a black woman and how to love a black man. There's 3 sciences you heard me mention that were never taught to the slaves. And one of them was mating. And that's what we're going to take a deep dive into this Friday at the Black Box Theater. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
The Black Box Theater in Baltimore this Friday at 7 p.m. Come on out. And I guarantee you that you're going to leave with some news that you can use. And you will find that you will have new tools that you can put in your spiritual toolbox and new psychological weaponry that you can put in your mind that will help you to conquer the life that you are faced right now. We're going to deal with the economic side of marriage. We're going to deal with how to choose a mate, the law of compatibility. How do you make a list of what an ideal man and an ideal woman looks like? What percentage of that list should the person that you're thinking about marrying already manifest? What happens whenever you do it with the percentage off? We gonna break it down. You got to come out.
I got my list on my phone, brother Nuri.
Here it is. Come check it out.
Oh,
why you said you got yours on?
I said I got my list. I want you to check my list, brother Nuri Muhammad. I said I got my list. I want you to make sure that I'm moving in the right direction. So I got my list. So I definitely want you to review my list and tell me your thoughts on it. But let me tell you something. When I did make my list, and I don't know if it's because of my age or, like you said, my maturity, because you got some folks in their 40s still immature. But I noticed that when I listed everything, sex, I didn't even get to sex yet in my list. Like with all of the things, it was character, intelligence, goals, family history, family culture, politics, economics, medical history. I went through all of that, and I didn't on my list. And I actually posted my list, by the way, on my page maybe like 3 years ago. Yeah, I did. I put my list out there, and I asked the people. I said, "Did you notice that I didn't have superficial stuff like looks, sex, like?" None of that was on my list. Like the first 15 items weren't surface things at all. Everything was kind of like, intelligence, character, goals, self-motivated, self-esteem, financially stable, a critical thinker, someone that enjoys learning, travel, your family history, your culture. Or do we share the same politics? What's your economic potential? What's our economic potential? I didn't even get to like, what I want, looks, and I didn't get in sex. I wasn't there, brother Nuri Muhammad. So I said, I don't know if it's age, experience, and or, just that I've just grown, and so
I think it's all three. And unfortunately, there's a saying that wisdom comes with age. And that's not always true. Sometimes age comes all by itself.
You ain't lying about that.
No wisdom with it, just age. There's a difference between getting older and growing up.
Come on.
But that list that you did, that's the structure. So top of the list should be spiritual characteristics.
Yeah.
Next section should be personality traits. Then after that, you can get into, if you got any room left on any pages, a couple of physical things. But for the most part, personality and spiritual should make up the majority of your list. And whenever you look at what marriage is called, whatever system of belief that you study, whether it is the principles of Maat or whether it is the laws of the 10 Commandments or the 371 habits of Israel or the Sharia law of Islam, what restrictive, whatever system you study,
right?
Marriage is called a sacred union or a covenant connection or holy matrimony. So if that's what marriage is called in all systems, it's letting us know that marriage is more spiritual than it is physical.
Come on, you better teach.
So the next thing after that list, I tell those that we counsel, I say, now before you show anybody the list, Dr. Maat, before you show anybody the list,
I didn't post it.
You show a man that list, he'll sit down and face it, he all that, and he ain't none of it. But this is what the first assignment, once you make the list as a woman of what the ideal man looks like for you, and as a man, what the ideal woman looks like for you. Did you hear what I said? I said, as a man, what the ideal woman looks like for you.
Yeah.
And as the woman, what the ideal man looks like for you.
Oh, I just caught what you just said the second time. The second time I caught it.
So notice that when you seen the gods on those pyramid walls that we mentioned, there's a few things you notice. Number one, they were not girlfriend and boyfriend. They were husband and wife.
No, that's true.
And you know what, Dr. Maat and Brother Jabbar, we did a word search into 70 different translations of the Quran and a couple of hundred translations of the Bible, and we looked up the word boyfriend and girlfriend. Do you know it was in no scripture, in no translation?
Wow.
I said, man, that means that boyfriend and girlfriend is not in the language of God. The question is, whose language is it in? Second thing you notice is that men were with a woman and women were with a man. There was no men with men on the pyramid walls and no women with women.
No, it wasn't.
Third thing that you notice, at least I did, is that wasn't none of them brothers with no white girls.
No. or sisters with white boys.
With no white boy. So I tell people, after you make that list of the ideal woman if you're a man, ideal man if you're a woman, then ask yourself the question, what does the ideal mate look like for this ideal man if I'm a woman? And then after you look at what the ideal woman would look like for this ideal man, now you got to say, how much of the ideal woman am I already? Anything I need to work on? And what we find, and is found in the sacred text of the Quran in the 24th chapter, 32nd verse, it says, look, if you can't find a mate, keep chase until God blesses you out of his grace with a spouse. So that means God himself is a matchmaker. So you don't actually have to go looking for the ideal man or looking for the ideal woman. You have to put your energy in becoming the ideal woman for the ideal man, and the God will allow you to be a human magnet and send you the one that's born just for you. So that's the other side of the equation. And if you have someone that you're considering, you know, the reason why it's so important not to get into the physical touch before you get into spiritual commitment.
Come on.
Is because the minute you get into physical touch before spiritual commitment, your judgment begins to be clouded by the feeling and the pleasure, and you might even feel like you're supposed to be with someone even though you know you're not. So sex, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, has a way of clouding judgment. So even if it is red flags, you can't see her no more. You're like, is that a red? No, that ain't red. That's blue. Matter of fact, that ain't even a flag at all. Then whenever the feely touchy becomes consistent and normal, and then the clouds go away, now you stuck with, dang it, that was not no blue pole, that was a real red flag. So you want to make sure that when you have that compatibility list, spiritual traits, personality traits, if you got room for some physical, that's fine. And you want whoever you are considering to already be 70% of your list in present person. And you can work on the other 30% later. If you find someone that matches 70% of your ideal list, you got you a partner. But if you find someone that only got 30% of your list, you don't have a partner, you got a project. You want a partner in a project.
So, Brother Nuri Muhammad, let me ask you this, and I know time is of the essence. We probably got about 6 or 7 more minutes with you. Wow. What are your thoughts about, because you mentioned earlier, you said that, oh my goodness, you know, finding your mate is more spiritual than anything, right? And I'm just paraphrasing what you said. You said it's, marriage. You said marriage is more spiritual, right? It's a spiritual thing, right? Would you also say, because in my tradition, we say that marriage is communal. It's communal. It's not, you know how we always say in this society, people think that, oh, it's just between a man and a woman, is individualistic in nature. But we say, no, it's communal, because you're cleaving onto me. Yes, I'm cleaving onto you, but I'm bringing everybody with me, my mama, my daddy, my uncles, my aunts, my cousins. So in looking for a mate, would you say that they also have to be a good fit for your village? Because ultimately we're both representatives of our villages, right? So would you also say that list needs to include compatibility with one's village? What are your thoughts about that?
Of course. So that, because one of the things I say in the vows is that we are here to solemnize the intentions of these two to become one. And when they come together, this is not just the bond of two individuals, but this is the bond of two families, making it more than the family it used to be, and it now is a tribe ready to become a nation. So they call that in this world, they call blended families only whenever you bring children from a previous relationship into a home with a new person you call your mate. But the real truth is, when we understand that marriage is not just about two individuals coming together, but two families, then every relationship is a blended family.
It's a blended family.
So there should be, and see, whenever a man knows that, when a woman knows that, then the same way that he's courting the wife or the wife to be, he's also courting the mother, courting the father, courting the uncles, courting the brothers. Yeah. Not in no funny way, but he's courting them to try to win them over and let them know that I'm an honorable person you can trust. I'm happy to be a part of this family, and I will be here to help you all in whatever I can. And I got your back, and I hope you got mine.
That's right, Brother Nuri Muhammad.
And when that happens, then you have that true ancient system that makes it a true blended family, not bringing two individuals together or just an individual with some children from another relationship, but bringing both sides together and making a tribe out of two families.
No, absolutely. And I just got so excited while you were talking. Like, I'm just so happy that you touched on that, because I had just had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about how when you do choose a mate, right, that it's, everyone should be able to weigh in on it. And I'm not talking about Brother Nuri Muhammad, your homegirls gossiping, girl, I don't like him, it's just something about him, or he has something. I'm talking about the men in your village, and I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. Yeah. The men in your village should have a say so. In this decision to bring this other man into the village, because guess what? And this is what I said in the conversation. As soon as something happens, so you think you grown, I'll find my own man. I don't need nobody. I ain't going to tell my uncle. I ain't going to show him to my father. But as soon as something happens, you're calling your father. You're calling your brother. You're calling your uncles, and your uncles are then like, I didn't even meet dude. Like, you want me to go check this guy? I don't even know him. I've never met him. So I was talking to the sisters, and like, again, coming from a woman's perspective, and I was saying, look, when you are interested in a man, you got to bring him to your dad. If you don't have a dad, bring him to granddad. You don't have a granddad, bring him to your uncle. Bring him to some man that is an important force in your life, and allow that man to vet him and to give you feedback on that before you make your decision to get romantically involved with that man.
That's civilization.
Come on.
That's how it is in a civilized society. That's why in the tradition, a man doesn't even go to the female. He goes to the father and asks, can he? Do you remember The Godfather?
Yes, part 1, 2, and 3. Well, part 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, whenever he had, when he had whacked them he came out of there with that 38 out the bathroom and had whacked them too. Yeah, and he had to get out of New York. He went to Sicily and he found him a wife, but before he could talk to her, he had to go talk to her father.
That's right.
And then you seen the two of them. They weren't in the dark room, hugged up, kissing and smooching. They was in broad daylight, walking out in the public and talking to each other. And when the camera panned back, it was about 70 soldiers behind them. All the men from the family was walking behind them.
Come on.
So the reason civilized people do this is because when you are involved in a relationship, your attraction causes you to become emotionally intoxicated.
Right. And
you need people that are not emotionally intoxicated, but are sane and sober. So when you're emotionally intoxicated, you're going off of feelings.
Yes.
But when they're sane and sober, they're going off of facts. And feelings are not facts. Facts are facts.
That's right.
The way the mind works, however high the emotions are, even positive, then logic is equally lower on the lower spectrum to where emotions are. So let's say you got your emotions at an 8, your logic and reasoning is only at a 2. If your emotions are at a 7, your logic and reasoning is only at a 3. The higher the emotions, the lower the logic and the reasoning.
Wow.
And you do not want to pick a mate off of just feelings. You want to pick them off of some facts.
Come on.
And a little bit of feelings.
Come on.
But whenever you are emotionally intoxicated by attraction, you need those sober, sane minds that don't have that emotion at a 7 and logic at a 3. They got their logic at a 9 and their emotions only at a 1. So what they see is a little more accurate than the one that's clouded by the emotions of infatuation. So you need that. You need them. You need uncles. You need brothers. You need aunts. You need mother. You need them to be your positive soundboards that you're bouncing the person off of, so that they can get a feel for. I don't want to say a feel for. Get some facts for what you got a feeling for.
That's right.
And that helps the equation. But we got to get back. We got to get back to community. In order for that to happen. Because right now we are a colony.
Come on.
Not a community.
Not a community. Woo!
The colony is whenever you have people living in one environment, but the people that do business in the environment don't live in the environment. They suck the economic blood and reinvest somewhere else and leave you there. A community is when the people that live in an environment own the businesses in the environment and recycle their profits to increase the value of that unit. And then if you look at the base word of community, it is unity. Community means, and have you noticed, Dr. Maat, that we don't even call it neighborhoods no more, we just call it the hood?
Right.
You know why? Because the concept and function of neighbor is missing.
Yes.
Absolutely. See, in a community, I'm your brother. In the community, Brother Jabari, you my brother. Dr. Maat, you're my sister. If I'm your brother and you're my sister, my son's your nephew, your daughter is my niece.
That's right.
So I'm the uncle.
That's right.
You the auntie. So it's all family.
Yes.
And when that kind of concept is in play, then you don't see gossip or tear down, or I'm talking negative about the one you're interested in because I ain't got none at all. But you start seeing sane, sober, rational, logical decisions that they can give input that's more factual, while you bring in your mind that's more feeling, and you can come out making a better decision.
No, absolutely. And while you were talking, I was thinking about in traditional African societies, before someone was to come into your village, right? Be it a man or a woman, right? And it depends. Your man, you bringing a woman in, or vice versa. You used to have to go and live with the person's family for a certain amount of time. So sometimes it could be 3 months. It just depends on the ethnicity. So this ethnic group may say, well, look, in order for you to come into our ethnic group, you got to come and live with the family, of the person you're interested in for 3 months, or 5 months or 6 months. It just depends. So in traditional African societies, you have to go and live with that person's family to see if, they like you or not. But again, in order for that to happen, as you just so eloquently stated, we have to get back to developing communities. That's impossible without a community. Let me drop a bomb for you right now, Brother Nuri. On this platform, you just drop jewel after jewel after jewel. So, Brother Nuri Muhammad and Brother Jabari, do you all have any closing words for the listening audience?
I'll start just closing, just saying that, man, I hope that y'all, the brother was dropping a lot of knowledge, information. He's been all over the internet, all over the world, dropping knowledge and science and love, teaching, and I just hope that, man, y'all, that y'all come out to Baltimore, Tubman City, meet this brother live. It's going to be a book signing also. That's and right. Brother Nuri, how many books you have out now?
6.
Okay. And the new book that's out, what's the name of that book?
Mathematics of the Mind. It's already there. We got boxes and boxes and boxes. It's already in Baltimore
It's
waiting
already in
right
Baltimore.
now. It's already landed. They already there.
Right. Cool. So we're
But
gonna
you
have a
know,
book signing there. We're gonna have the lecture. We're gonna have a book signing there, and the family just out showing love and communicating with one another, in unity. So family, you want to come out. If you can't join us live stream. This is gonna be the place to be this Friday, Father's Day weekend. Father's Day weekend,
Mm.
so come on out. This is one of the most important things that I think that we need in our community right now. It's a lot of tension between the black man and the black woman, and every time they get a chance, they're instigating it constantly. You see through social media, and we gotta fight back. We gotta fight back, and this is an attempt right here to fight back. So we hope to see y'all come out, family. I'm looking to see my people from Tubman City, DC, wherever you're coming from. We're looking to see you come out and to be a part of this great event that we're gonna actually have. So that's pretty much all I have to say
and
to the family.
I second your motion, brother Jabari. Just know this, that whenever you are constantly in a digital space, in looking at and trying to learn in a virtual reality, you are in a heavily distracted environment. And if you are riding in your car, if you're sitting on your job with your AirPods in, or if you are in your house, every environment has with it its own social order. So the atmosphere that you breathe has thoughts in that atmosphere that could be abstract to the subject you're trying to study and learn.
That's right.
But when you break away and give your undivided attention in the space at the same time, focused on that message, and you're not in your home, you're not in your car, you're not on the job, but you are at the Black Box Theater with us, then what happens is group learning trumps individual learning by almost 10. So a person can learn a page by themselves, but in a group they'll remember 10 pages because of the spirit, the energy, and the atmosphere is charged by the thoughts that are specific to that environment. And Black Box Theater is not a place of playing and joking. It's a serious space of learning for the rebuilding of us as a people. So come to the environment in a non-distracted environment. Rub elbows with some good brothers and some good sisters. Do some networking, and then bring your undivided attention. And I ask you if you could just bring at least 3 things with you when you come. Number 1, when you show up to the Black Box Theater this Friday, bring a good spirit. Number 2, bring somebody with you. And then number 3, bring a mind willing to learn. And if you bring all 3 of them, we're going to have a great building set. And I promise you, when you leave, you're going to have the ability to convert your home into a spiritual recharge center.
I know that's right.
That you can unplug from this no good, wicked, white supremacist, materialistic world and come home to a pure place of love where you can plug in and extract from that environment both peace and power. Come on out and be with us this Friday at the Black Box Theater in Baltimore, 7 p.m. Don't meet me there, beat me there.
I'm gonna beat you there. I'm coming. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna see him. And this brother know when he goes somewhere. I saw him at the All Black National Convention. I ran right over to him, said, "Give me my hug,
That's
let me take my picture with you." So I'm definitely gonna be
Black
there.
Love Fest. We're gonna have a Black Love Fest this Friday. Come on now.
Absolutely. All right, family. So you heard it. Thank you so much, Brother Nuri Muhammad. Thank you so much, Brother Jabari Nator. Now, Brother Jabari, you gave me my flowers. I gotta give you your flowers now. You've been doing work in Tubman City for almost 30 years, and you've been putting it down with Survivors Nation, Reality Speaks. I remember linking up with him. I was 17, Brother Nuri Muhammad.
Wow.
I'm 43 now. I was 17 when I met him. So that's how far we go back, and that's how much he has influenced my walk and my journey. And so I thank you, Brother Jabari. It's a lot of people whose walk that you've influenced, a lot of scholars you exposed us to over the years. Look at Baba Anthony T. Browder, him and I like this. And the first time I ever met him was through you. I had an opportunity to do a lecture with Dr. Patricia Newton because of you. And so you've been putting in a lot of work, and you're still putting in a lot of work. And we thank you, Brother Jabari, for that. And we love you. And I wanted to just give you your flowers while you can smell them. And brother, look at Brother Nuri Muhammad. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. As my mother would say, travel and mercies to you. And she always say, God willing, I'll see you on Friday at 7 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Right.
I look forward to it.
All right. Peace and love to you,
Thank
brothers.
You.
Peace and peace. Peace, warriors. All right, family. So you heard it. You heard it. You heard it. You heard it. Brother Nuri Muhammad will be in the building, family, this Friday. I've dropped the link in the chat several times. Make sure that you click on the link and get your tickets. And you heard Brother Jabari say, look, if you can't make it out, they do have a live stream option, right? So if you can't make it out, click the live stream and watch it. We're definitely going to be in the building to hear this brother. And I mean, he's a deep brother. You heard all the jewels he just dropped. So I can only imagine what he's going to say on Friday. Before we get out of here, family, you already know I got a few announcements. Make sure that you get your Meltrek. Head on over to Meltrek365.com and grab Meltrek episode 3. If you don't have Meltrek episode 1 and 2, make sure that you get Meltrek episode 1 and 2. We have the digital downloads available as well as the DVDs. And believe it or not, you still have some folks who are still buying the Meltrek DVDs. And I understand why. Because guess what? A lot of us, we want to purchase things, the digital downloads. And if this internet crashes the day of tomorrow, your digital library is going to be gone. So if there's anything that you want to keep, and Baba Amin and Baba Imhotep Fatty, you have been saying this. If it's anything worth keeping, right, you may want a hard copy. Get a hard copy of that. Whether it's a book, if it's a film, get a hard copy. Because if this internet crash, I remember Baba Imhotep Fatty saying, he said, man, if the internet crashed today tomorrow, this would send us back into the dark ages overnight. And it really would, because we're so dependent on this internet, right? And so anyway, family, I'm going to drop a link in the chat to the digital downloads, man, for Meltrek episode 1. Okay. This is a film series, an animated film series that teaches children about Black history from the Black perspective. Click on the link right now, okay, and grab your digital copies. And if you don't want the digital copies, just come on over here to Meltrek365.com, and I'm going to drop this link in the chat. Okay, you can get your DVDs, you can get your books. Okay, make sure that you grab them as soon as possible. We just released Meltrek episode 3, which teaches children about the origins of European enslavement and colonization. And so, look, Amazon didn't want to even publish it. I submitted it to Amazon, and Amazon was like, nah, I'm not even publishing this. It's off the chain, family. So make sure that you get it for your children. Also, family, make sure that you enroll your son in the Asafo training camp. All right, this camp is free of charge. It's going down on July the 28th through August the 3rd, right here in Baltimore City. And if you don't live in Baltimore City, get an Airbnb and come and kick it with us for a week and allow your son to have this experience, family, okay? We focus on there's 4 core areas of focus: character development, physical fitness, critical thinking, and self-defense. So make sure that you get your son enrolled in this. It's a free program. We only have 20 slots, and like 12 of those slots are gone, okay? So we're taking 8 more boys. Make sure that you get your son enrolled, all right? And make sure that you show up. Some of y'all enroll your kids and don't even show up. We also have the Agoji training camp for young girls. I'm going to drop the link to the registration form. Hold on. I'm going to drop the link to the registration form because we don't have the website up. We're going to have the website up and running on Friday. But this is a link to the Agoji training camp for young girls, which focuses on womanhood development in young girls. So young girls are going to learn about feminine hygiene, proper etiquette for a woman, a lady, offline and online. They're going to learn life skills, first aid. How do you change a tire? How do you change your own oil? How do you sew? How do you hem? How do you organize a home? How do you garden? How do you cook? I mean, y'all, I'm telling you, I wish that I went through a program like this as a young girl, and it's free. It's free, and we're only taking 20 girls, just like with the Asafo training camp. As a matter of fact, let me go up here and go to the registration form for the ASAFO training camp. I'm going to drop that link in the chat so that you don't have any excuses. Oh, Dr. Maat, I don't have the link. You got it. It's in the chat. For those of for my family that's on Instagram, head on over to Dr. Oya Edward Maat on my YouTube. Get in this chat and get these links, okay? Get in this chat and get these links. Last but not least, family, make sure that you enroll your child in the UACI Summer STEM Camp. We have a $25,000 scholarship. It'll be free for all camp participants. Free of charge, y'all. Do you hear what I'm saying? Free. You'll be on for 4 hours your child will be on for 4 hours from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The first 2 hours, they'll be on with the Uhuru Academy. They'll be learning about Black achievements in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then for 2 hours, they'll be on with Conscious Ingenuity to learn about AI. Family, let me show you all a lesson. I don't even want to show you. The stuff that they're learning, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cybersecurity concepts. If I pulled up a lesson plan, I promise you, you're going to want to enroll your child right now. The stuff that they're going to be exposed to is stuff that college students are doing, stuff that they're doing in industry. These are the concepts and ideas that your child will be exposed to, and it's for free. We only have 13 or 14 slots. We're taking 30 slots. We had 30 slots. 16 are gone. So that's 14. I said 13 or 14. There's 14 left. Okay. And we have a crew. A crew is actually an organization in Oakland, California. They want 15 slots. So I'm telling you now, take advantage. You got to strike while the iron's hot. It's free. Enroll your child today. All you got to do is come on over here. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Come to uacistemcamp.com. Scroll all the way down, okay, to the form. Complete the form, okay, so we can send you out a t-shirt and your STEM kit ASAP. All right, y'all. With that being said, thank you so much for being with us tonight. You know, make sure, family, before you get up out of here, that you thumb up the video, thumb it up, thumb it up, thumb it up. Also share this video, family. Let's get the likes up now and let's get the information out. Okay. So thumb it up. Make sure that you share. And lastly, family, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so that whenever I go live, you will be notified. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for tuning in tonight. You could have been anywhere. You could have been anywhere in these YouTube streets or these IG streets, but you were right here with Dr. Maat. And I want you to know that I do not take your presence for granted. I don't. Thank you for your mind, your time, and your behind. Peace and Black African excellence.
Let's combat and fight back with Maltrax. The war of the minds, they want control of the masses. And Common Core, they dumb us down in the classes. Without knowledge, we can't gain access. Build with the elders, take notes and write classes. We keep whining on the block, how it's gonna stop? Let's start supporting our own, make their supply drop. We buy stocks, then we buy blocks. Cause we know the truth and we tuned in to Dr. Maat.